What's up, guys? It's Tyler McKinney here. And listen, I just decided I wanted to go do something different today. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to go live. I don't know if any of you guys will come in, you'll tune in and watch it. And I apologize I was late with it, but I figured, you know what, let's try something new. I've got a new ability that I can do. Now, granted, it's not going to be my normal audio. It's not going to be my normal clean video. But hey, we're going to keep it up. We're going to look at it here. So I'm going to try to keep things going on my computer in front of me. And hopefully I can keep up with the comments and the stuff. And then I'm going to go ahead and have my phone up there to do all of the video and hopefully the audio stuff. So let's go ahead and let's check out and see what we got going on here. Alright, so yeah, if you've been paying attention today to kind of what's been going on in the world of sports, it's been a pretty slow day. I mean, if you think about it, you know, you've got everybody talking about all of the stuff that happened with the XFL this past weekend and the big win that the LA. No, wait, they're not talking about that. What are they talking about then? You know, that's really an interesting question. All right, so finally I got the feed. So I need more volume. Volume's too low. All right. Hey, I appreciate all the information. I don't know. Is that helping at all? Somebody can give me an answer on that. I don't know. Let's see. And I guess that's why we try these things out. No, not really. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's see if I can. I'm going to change some things. I apologize, guys. Did that help at all, anybody? All right, so I tried something else, so let's see if that helped. Yeah, okay. Well, I apologize, guys, if we got background noise and things. Yeah, there's probably going to be static and stuff in it. Is it pretty bad, or is it doable? Yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know. Terrible. Right, great. Wonderful. Thanks, Nerd Squad. See your Sniper Squad. It said it's good. It's good. Good. A little echoey, but works for me. All right. See, I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and if you guys are okay with it, we'll just go through and we'll do this video the way it is. If not, I'll stop it, get some good, some different audio, and then come back. You guys let me know. Let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking. Okay, mic is good, super good. Thanks, Brian. Philly Hype fan, thanks for coming in. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here with it. Now, listen, I started things off with saying, hey, today it's just been a crazy day with just all this sorts of news. And yeah, I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, they've been talking about all of this stuff with the XFL and just what a crazy weekend it was and what the Vipers need to do to finally get their new, to get their first win and, maybe having Aaron Murray back this week. Or do we really need to get rid of Silvers? No, not even LA and their big upset. No, we're not talking about breaking down any of those games like they normally do for like 3 or 4 days with the NFL. No. All we're pretty much getting today is how big Joe Burrow's hands are. And yeah, I can tell you, listen, I'm not a very big guy. I'm not a tall guy. I'm 5'6". And yeah, and like I said, I played running back, I played tailback, and I played defensive back, I played safety, and I played cornerback. These hands, yeah, they're probably not even 9-inch hands, But hey, listen, I didn't play any quarterback either. But man, I'll tell you, for a guy who threw 60 touchdown passes and did everything that he did in the SEC and, in a major Power 5 major conference, and to go ahead and, I don't know, they must be sore up for stuff. And, let's see here. So, it's kind of one of those things where I just find it hilarious that we're talking about a guy's hands, and then on top of that, we're talking about should he pull a Eli Manning. I'm like, guys, we just had some football, and we should talk about some dang football, if you ask me. Try to keep up with this. Let's see here. Vince McMahon, please open up the upper deck of the dome. Dude, I hear you there. Let's see here. DC still the best team in the XFL. Listen, DC could still be the best team in the XFL. If you ask my opinion, if you pay any attention to the NFL at all, when teams go from one coast to the next coast, a lot of times you will see the spread will drop. I mean, they'll even drop the spread if a team normally plays on grass and they're going to play on turf, or vice versa. I mean, one of the things is that as the season goes on in Pittsburgh, that field is grass, and it gets torn up because everybody and their brother uses that. They use that for all of their the state finals of their tournament there in Pennsylvania, and so their field's a mess. And so, the spreads and stuff always get manipulated by that stuff. So yeah, definitely could be that. Let's see what up here. Keep it steady. LOL. Yeah, thanks, Steve. Hey, trying something new. I figured, what the heck? Let's go ahead and let's try and see what we got going on. Nerd Squad, you haven't really seen DC play a good team, but they've looked great. Yeah, I think that's probably it. They got smacked in the mouth. We'll see what they've got. I mean, good teams respond from being smacked in the mouth. And again, this is professional football. This isn't college football. I think you'll be surprised at the end of the day. I think you're going to have some 4-loss teams that are going to make it into the playoffs. I feel like each team is going to get better as we go, and they're going to get closer and closer and closer. Maybe all but New York. Just joking there. Let's see here. What else we've got? Dallas versus Houston. I have a feeling it's going to be a good old-fashioned Texas. You ain't kidding. This is going to be a Big 12 shootout. There's no doubt. And one of the things I found really interesting is the guys that are embracing the whole opening up the offenses and throwing the ball down the field and stuff like that. Those guys, those teams seem to be doing really well. Or doing modern offenses. The ones that are running archaic offenses aren't the ones that are doing good in the XFL. So there's that. Let's see here. What up? Hey, what up, Joypad lad? Let's see here. Philly hype fan. Yeah, I got yours. Concept coasters. Vipers are an anomaly. Definitely are. They look better than their record shows. You ain't kidding. You look at their stats and the stuff, and they should probably be 2-1. With everything that they got going on. DC gonna bounce back. Yeah, I think that they're they're gonna go look good this week and that with it. So we'll see. The Wildcats play Defenders later in the year. Yeah. Hopefully PJ puts Dallas on their heels so that Landry has to actually throw downfield and not throw 90% to running backs and tight ends again. That's pretty much going to be, they do throw downfield some and that with it, but I got a feeling that probably the short game, that is their running game. So they use that kind of like the running game in the air raid. So you're going to probably see about 60% of the passes that are going to fall within that thing. I don't necessarily, and listen, when you've got a what was he, 6'7"? Just Dix, or what is he, 6'9", something like that. Parham. That is just, it's ridiculous. I think he is 6'9". Ridiculous. Let's see, a fellow Cowboys fan, what do you think about Dak's situation? Nerd Squad, I like Dak as a guy. Dak is pretty, you can't go wrong with Dak. I mean, he is just one stand-up guy. I love his demeanor. I love the way he is. I love the way he handles himself on the field and off the field. I've not been a huge fan of his play, but then again, you're coming from a guy who liked Tony Romo. And, usually there's two camps, those who do like Tony Romo and those who don't like Tony Romo. And, I think Dak was, they didn't ask him to do anything really spectacular that year. And now, granted, he's had great stats this past year, but when they needed a quarterback to step up and be the quarterback, take the game on their shoulders, this year it just didn't happen. And that's the difference from them being probably something, around, 10, 11 wins, and what they ended up with 8 wins. He played well against, lower competition, and when it came to be better competition, he didn't play well. And they didn't step up either. I mean, I'm not putting it all on Dak. But, I've never been a huge fan of Dak. You guys might hate me for that, but, it is what it is. Let's see here. What's up from New York City? Thanks, Brian. Let's see here. Jabba's 619. How are you doing? Doing pretty good, man. Joe Brown, how do you fix the Houston defense? I don't necessarily think that it's broken. When you run that type of an offense, your defense is just gonna get gashed. They're gonna be on the field a lot, and so they're gonna be used to giving up stuff and giving up points. And so I think June Jones is just fine with that. I think that their defensive line are just monsters, and especially if they get ahead early. You turn it down, and you lose kind of some of that intensity. They were fine in that Battlehawks game. They'll be fine. Let's see here. I don't think Bob Stoops likes being interviewed during plays. Yeah, no. Half of the coaches don't. Like, especially the old school guys, they don't like it. But they'll get used to it as it goes on, and that, it is what it is. I'll tell you what, though. I love listening to, like, Jerry Glanville and just all of those, like, he's just a character. He just reminds me of an old school mob boss, the way he acts, the way he is. I love it. And I love like that aspect of it. What's up with Matt McGloin? I just think he's not it. So New York needs fixed. What they're trying to do is modernize an old system, and what they need to do is go to a new system. I think Luis Perez is the best quarterback for the system that they're running. They can't they need really hefty running backs that just can come in and do that. And with Victor when he was injured and if you don't have a quarterback that can sling the ball around the field, and Matt McGloin's not accurate down the field. We've already seen that. I mean, that's been the story of him throughout his career. And so, I think Luis Perez is their best bet going forward here. I don't think you're going to be able to change the offense, but I think that you can at least make the offense, something to where they can, they're not putting their defense in bad positions and to where I think that they could win some games. But they've got to get that locker room fixed. A lot of those guys that have been starting and playing aren't buying into the system, and I think that's half the battle. I don't think Matt McGloin buys into the system, so there's that. And then I think you've got his whole group of guys that are that way with him too. So I think you do that, you fix some of that stuff. Let's see here. Guardians are a mess. Definitely, we're talking about that. Focus on winning and not picking a fight with. Sliberman, whatever, the center, 69. Yeah, man, that was rough, and I felt bad for him. They kept going back to him, and that. Let's see here, what else we got? Love the live stream. Cool, well, I appreciate it. Jabuzz 619. Let's see here. Keep it up. Quentin Flowers should get the start next week. I don't know. Here's the thing about Quentin Flowers. I really like him. I think that he could come in and really run that offense if they keep opening it up, and if they kind of model it a little bit after what they've been doing with Tamau and hopefully I pronounced it right. I don't know. I'm trying to think about pronouncing his name. But if they do the same thing that they do in St. Louis and do it with Flowers, but just have him on a little bit shorter leash, knowing that he's a better runner than he is passer, and that he doesn't pass well in those situations, I think that they would be fine. They just don't want to run that. Trustman doesn't want to run that. Now, who knows? Aaron Murray coming back, it might change things. The team seems to believe in Aaron Murray. He seems to be their quarterback. They seem to feel like that. Cornelius played okay last week, but I don't see it getting any better than what he played last week. So we'll see what Aaron Murray does, because that seems to be their guy. Let's see. I'm not a Tampa Bay guy, but why are you all starting Flowers? Yeah, I don't. The guy was 4 for 6 last week. He's looked good in the little bits that they've given him. But yeah, I mean, I can see both sides of things. I've been kind of calling for Flowers to get a shot, and he's never really gotten a shot to kind of be the guy. He's gotten two series together and that, but then gets pulled and so I think at the end of the game, I think they would have had a better shot with him down there in the end zone, getting ready to possibly tie up the game. But this is all hindsight and that with it, Let's see here. He's costing us the XFL Eastern Championship. They just need to find a quarterback. If you think about it, New York, I think that they've got some more issues besides just quarterback. But you've got them. And again, I'm not on the XFL doesn't have good quarterbacks. I just like there are guys that are starting that don't need to be starting. And again, it's like the NFL. There are guys in the NFL that are starting that are playing that don't need to be playing. And unfortunately, a lot of times it's like too little, too late. Silvers is kind of one of those guys I'm on the fence with. I really wanted him to step up and be more dynamic, and he wasn't. He wasn't willing to kind of sling the ball down the field. And sometimes you just can't coach that. And sometimes that hurts you. But I would like to see the gunslinger Brandon Silvers as opposed to a guy holding the ball. I think that he was the one that hurt him last week. Hey Spencer, and see Samantha, Sam. Sorry, man. Sorry, I'm reading these things as they're moving. Hey, I'm new to all this, so I apologize. Let's see here. I'm trying not to miss all that what's going on. Did you ever pick? No, I did not pick an XFL team. Unfortunately, I haven't picked a team, and let's talk about that for a little bit, because this is the one thing that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, especially in like the mainstream. So I apologize, guys. I'm gonna get off the comments for a second because I do want to talk about this. This is one of those things for me that I'm just like, we really need to just start to support the league, and like. Let's have our own banter with ourselves, but when I look at kind of the news media and what all's going on there and that with it, it's all about like what can the league do to bolster themselves up to play little brother to the NFL and get these guys back to the NFL and to do this and to do that, and you've heard me say this before, and I'm going to be a broken record about it, but I'm okay. Like, the guys want to get back to like playing football and really making football. I mean, nobody wants to just stay at a low-paying job. I mean, that's not what we aspire to do with our careers. So I want them to further their career, and that's the way that they further their career. But us as fans, let's support the league. Let's embrace the league. And I've just kind of decided I'm going to embrace the league, support the league. I haven't picked a team. A lot of it has to do with I just don't. There isn't a team around me. I'm 7 hours away from the closest team, and there's like 2 teams that are close to me. With that, they're within about 7 hours drive for me. So it's just kind of, I don't really feel there, and there really hasn't been a team that's just kind of like I've embraced or has embraced me, because I've reached out to every one of the teams. Through their media outlets, and I've really only had a couple of them that have actually responded back to me, about stuff. Now, granted, I'm a small YouTuber, which I get it, but hey, you try things, and so yeah, we just need to support this league and getting back to that whole point, and because it's going to succeed or fail based upon us fans and what we do with our money, not necessarily how the national media covers it, the spins that they put on things, and we'll get to that because I find it hilarious what's going on again in the national media, with the XFL and how they're looking at things and that type of a thing, but we just really need to step up. And really just keep pushing the league, telling people more about the league. It's fun, and do what you feel is supportive to you. I'm not talking about going out and spending a whole bunch of money. I'm not talking about necessarily going to games. I'm not talking about buying a whole bunch of merch. I'm just talking about like support them when they're there. If you get a chance, watch a game. You know, if you get a chance to plug them somewhere, plug them somewhere. You know, give them some likes on, you know, some retweets. You know, that type of a thing. Keep the discussion going. You know, because the reality of it is that these guys, they're getting an opportunity to play football and to make money, regardless of, you know, if we think that it's, you know, not enough money, or, you know, it's too little, you know, they're not making enough. The thing is that if we support this league and put our energy into it and let the XFL know that we like the league in whatever way we can, they will make more money. They'll get more sponsorships. You know, they'll get more advertisement. You know, companies will want to do business with them more, which will bring in more money, which will in turn get these players more money. Because, again, I keep going back to this. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather have Philip Walker buried again on a depth chart, or would you rather see him electrifying, running around on a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon in an XFL game? I know what I would rather have. And the thing is, you know, they keep talking about this. The backups in the NFL, you know, if a guy makes a backup team, he's going to be making somewhere around $2 million on average. Okay, some guys are lower, some guys are higher. But if we go ahead and let's go ahead and let's bump him down to third string, or let's bump him down to where most of these guys were on the practice squad. They're making somewhere at the most on the practice squad around $150,000 a year. You know, if they're backup, they're making probably somewhere around $500,000 to $750,000 a year. If we could really back the XFL and show that the XFL is viable, you know, companies will then partner up with the XFL, which will bring in more money. So, you know, this is just speculation. I have no clue what they're paying Cardell Jones or, you know, PJ Walker or any of those guys. But let's say if they're making $250,000 right now, and, you know, they get a big sponsorship deal and they start getting more sponsors, and they can start paying a guy $500,000. Well, now that starts looking pretty lucrative and pretty nice to a guy like PJ Walker, to where all he's getting is, because the team's going to come to him, they're not going to come in and give him a 3-year deal. They're not going to come in and give him a 2-year deal. They're going to come in, they're going to give him a 1-year deal, and that 1-year deal is probably going to, if he does really well, turn into a practice squad position, so that they can keep these guys in reserve just in case if somebody that they've actually got money invested in goes down. I mean, that's what's happened. That's what a lot of the guys on the practice squads, you know, and on these futures contracts right now are doing. So I mean, that's where a lot of these guys are going to end up. And the other thing is that if they do start to get some more, you know, sponsorships and all of that, more money brought in, what we're going to get is we're going to get more of those practice squad guys. They're going to be looking more at the XFL, because they're going to be like, well, if I can make $150,000 and put game tape on the field or be on a practice squad, you know, what am I now? We've got we've got some type of a competition happening. And listen, we know this. Capitalism is great and competition's great. Why? Because competition, makes you get better. If you don't get better, you fall by the wayside. And I'm not talking that they're going to compete with the NFL for the top play. No, what I'm talking about those guys that the NFL is hoarding right now. And I don't mean it like they're hoarding and like they've got this conscious. No, I just mean that they've got all these guys that they've kind of got in their back pocket just in case. So they're kind of feeding them a little money just to keep them around so that they don't go anywhere. So that if for some reason somebody goes down, Josh Johnson's a perfect example. He's a guy who knew what they were running in Detroit, and so they wanted to pick him back up. And to do that, because their quarterback went down, and they needed a guy in that spot. So, yeah, okay, let's go ahead and let's look at some other things. Let's see here. Yeah, he's costing us the XFL Eastern Championship. Yeah, my favorite team to watch by far is the Roughnecks. This is Joy Padlad. Watch every second of every game in our fantasy league on Google Sheets. Yeah, man, I don't know if I could do live scoring. I'm terrible at that. Like even at church, if I'm not on the praise team and I've got to run slides, good night. I'm terrible. Like I'm singing the songs and I'm missing them. I couldn't do live stats. Yeah, agreed, Spencer. Yeah. Let's see here. Cam Phillips was always good in Madden. Now he's balling in the XFL. Hey, that's cool. I haven't played Madden since 2012. I've been kind of one of those NCAA 14 guys, and I've got NCAA 14 still, and All Pro Football 2K8. So those have been kind of the games. Every now and again, when I get the itch to play football, that's what I do. Let's see here. How do you feel about the illegal streams on YouTube with 6,000 people watching every stream? Listen, the XFL sees it. They know it's happening. They're not putting it down because people are talking about it. The illegal streams, I am a guy that I don't necessarily condemn people for pirating, but I am one. I've always been so. I not on top of being, I love sports. But I am a musician, and I do dabble in arts here and there, and so I do see the value of somebody else's property, and and paying for that, because if you're going out there and not buying their product, like, that's the product that they're putting out there. It'd be the same, it's different. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and report somebody, or I'm not going to go out there and be mean to somebody, or if back in the day it was tough, right? Because you would try to buy some software or something, and it would cost you thousands of dollars. Like, in the music industry, things used to cost you thousands of dollars, and so if you could get a pirated version, people were like all about it. But nowadays things have kind of dropped down, when it comes to technology type of things and stuff. I mean, hardware, whatever it be, instruments, cameras, stuff like that, that stuff's still expensive. And, you can't illegally fake that. But, it's not something that I would do. Like I said, it's not something that I'm just not a fan of it. Don't really want to be a part of it, but I'm just going to leave people be in that. So that's kind of my stance on it. I don't know if that gives you an answer or not. Let's see here. Brian says, do you think that New York will redeem themselves against the LA Wildcats? It'd be interesting. We are a society of, like, in the here and the now, and we only remember what you did for me last, right? What have you done for me lately, type of a thing. And so we've kind of gotten those laying in eggs for LA, out of our heads, and we've got that New York's this terrible team, which, the first game, listen, they played okay. If they can get their heads on straight and get guys in that system, that want to play for them, they'll stay in with teams, especially if they throw Luis Perez. Luis Perez can throw a good ball, and that with it. But this LA team's come around with Josh Johnson, and if they can keep Montez, Mr. Excitement Carter in there, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with in the West. I mean, the West just got interesting with that big win last weekend, and it might be a tough one here for the Guardians. I maybe 2 more wins the rest of the season, and that's like picking somebody off on a bad day. I don't know, but who knows? They get the right guys in there that buy into the system and know what they're doing, and that it could change everything. And just having a different quarterback, you can see, all you LA fans, it changes a lot. I should have known when I looked at the reviews the day before my draft. Let's see here, and that was Mike Inca. Let's see here, Aaron. IA is -7. Oh, LA is -7. One good game now. They traveled to New York. I think that's too many points, and it might be too many points. And again, we're talking about a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast. That's 3 hours difference in time zones and stuff, and that's a big deal. It's a big shift. Let's see here, Andrew G. LA playing like a family now. They'll be 3-2 in a few weeks. They've got a really nice schedule in the next few weeks, to where they could be rolling in and 3-2, and that would be really fun. And they are. Winston Moss, I was kind of surprised. Well, I thought things were just terrible when he got rid of Pepper Johnson and got rid of Anthony Johnson. But the guys seem to really rally around him. They seem to love him. And again, if you watch my coaching video, I like his moxie. I like the way his personality and stuff. But I will say he is bullheaded, and if things are going wrong, it's going to hit the fan, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be fun. And sometimes that's not good for him. Let's see here. I just didn't see the Guardians team that was 100% behind their quarterback Sunday in week 3. Yeah, they weren't behind their quarterback. The quarterback wasn't behind the coaches. Nobody was behind anybody. It was everybody for themselves. Yeah, it didn't look pretty, but man, was it fun to watch. Let's see here. Moses Cortez, do you think next week the attendance will not be good? I think the attendance will hold strong next week. You might even see some pickup. Let's see here. Our games for next week. DC Defenders and Tampa Bay Vipers. The Vipers, they have a really sneaky good following there in Tampa Bay. Who would have thought? And I think that they'll pull in good numbers, especially with the DC Defenders. People like the Defenders. And so people come out to see them. Let's see here. The Seattle Dragons and the St. Louis Battlehawks. That game's going to be packed. If they open up more seats, they'll sell more seats, especially if they sell them at $20 a pop as opposed to like $95 a pop. They open up that upper deck. They might be able to figure out a way to fill that stadium before the end of the season. New York, I don't know. I don't have a feel on New York. They could. New York fans, like when you and hey Brian, we've got you from New York, and you can let me know. New York fans show out for their teams. So if a group of people in New York have embraced this team, they'll show up for it. And after that win last week, there's definitely some more LA fans to where there might be people showing up there. And then of course that's going to be a barn burner in Dallas, and I think you're going to have a lot of people out there because of the in-state rivalry. To where I think that the attendance could stay up. The keys here are going to be New York and Tampa Bay. If Tampa Bay can hold where they're at, and New York can put in somewhere around 15,000, I seriously think that attendance numbers will stay right where they're at, or maybe even go up to like 85, 90. Especially if they open it up for the Battlehawks to let more people in, which I think that they will, and I think that they could. Cameron Artis-Payne, I think, will be the first 100 rusher. Good night. I've been waiting for him to do it, and he's getting right there. Now Jones is right on his heels though too. But yeah, I was so wanting to. It's like, oh my gosh. But let's see here. Getting to that question though, first rusher to 100 yards. I think it'll probably could be Cameron Artis-Payne, Jones are my two guys that I think would be it. See, Winston Moss got 0-2 team ready to fight a league favorite. That's hard to do. And Carter, the running back, looks like a star. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. And Winston Moss, that all comes from his moxie, and he's got the it factor, and people like him, and the players like him, and they're following him, and that's all they need right now, especially if they got a quarterback that knows their system, that's running it. And yeah, they're looking good, and now that they've got a running back, look out for these guys. See here, Mike says, my friend went to the first New York home game, who are Jets fans, and said the energy was way more at the Guardians game than at a Jets home game. Listen, the Jets have been bad, and it hasn't been looking good. So yeah, definitely, it was exciting there, and they were winning the game, and hopefully they get that home crowd back, that craziness. If somebody could explain to me eating the cheese, I didn't get that, and I would love to see that. Let me know in the comment section here. See here, Dallas has some good backs. Yes, they do, and that's they've got both. Good night. I'm a Dallas fan. I can't think of his name. Former Dallas Cowboy running back, and then Lance Dunbar, and then Cameron Artis-Payne. Yeah, they're both excellent. let's see here. Aaron says, so do you think the XFL will move some teams to smaller stadiums if possible? No, they're happy with, but the optics of seeing 70,000 at MetLife Stadium isn't good. Yeah, I get that. Here's the issue with this whole moving thing and that I have. They've got deals in place right now to where they have to do one thing or another, and so as I look at that, with it, they're only buying out probably portions of the stadium to where it's not really costing them a whole lot. There are other venues definitely that they could go to there in New York. Whether or not they will or not, I don't know. It doesn't seem to me that the XFL is too worried about the stadium size. I think they're more worried about, like what they can grow to, and building a fan base, and really getting in and ingrained in these areas, which building it up from like grassroots up. And that, I mean, like all the interaction that they did through training camp, through mini camp, and getting out in the communities, having all these events and these things and stuff, like that really garnered up fanship, and giving people access like they have been, it really creates fans of people, and it's creating that like those bonds with fans and stuff. So I don't think they're necessarily worried about it. And again, these are all business deals. I don't know what they have in place, but if you ask me, they've said, and this is not me, this is like Oliver Luck and all of the bigwigs have said that they have finances for a couple, 2 to possibly 3 seasons if they don't make a single dime. And so I think that they're committed to the cities that they're in. Now whether or not they expand anything is another story, and what markets are another story. But yeah, I just right now I don't see them moving any teams or doing anything like that. There really isn't anything that's happened that's that dire. And if you look at this, for them to be having for 4 games, they're averaging over 20,000 people a game. That's huge. That's great numbers. I mean, even if you look at the TV ratings, and again, hey, what the heck, we can go over to the TV ratings and start looking at the viewership and stuff, because it's gone down. So the audiences have gone down. So they've dropped on the TV side of things, but they're still the top. They're still the top programming in their slots and stuff. I mean, if you're on FS1 and you're still pulling over 1 million, like that's really good. I think sometimes we're too like focused on all this other stuff. If they can get a show to pull 1 million on a cable TV show, they're gonna stick with that. They're keeping up with all the other professional sports, or even college, and college sports that are out there. So they're not necessarily doing bad. And it cracks me up too. And, we'll talk about that here in a second. I'll try to see if I can hit some, or make sure I don't miss any. Let's see here. Hey, what's up, Daniel? We got you in here. Hey, let's see. I learned from Flemlo Rap's channel that attendance is rising in the XFL. People are really excited. Go Roughnecks. Jermis, my high school buddy, dogged me for being hype on the XFL. I said, we're Bills fans, bro. The first 3 weeks have been more exciting than the last 20 years of Bills games, barring 2019. That's funny. Let's see here. Flemlo is dope. Yeah, I like Flemlo. I mean, he's a pretty cool guy. A lot of cool content, a lot of neat stuff. And it's cool to see some YouTubers who are embracing the XFL. I think I saw Ryan Moody 21, who's trying to get people out there to tell the XFL that we want an XFL game. And so if you're fans, you go watch this video. I mean, I don't have a link or anything for it, but he's telling everybody to go write the XFL headquarters and tell them that we want an XFL game, and show that there's a fan base there for that game to get it into production and get that thing made, so we can get it sooner rather than later, or maybe even get it. As opposed to not getting it at all because they don't think that there's a market there for it. So yeah, I mean, I like guys like him, Flemlo, and you know, they're doing great stuff. It's the national stuff that's really driving me nuts. And let's go ahead and let's go down there. I mean, you know, I'm reading articles from a major national broadcasting company, and like they keep continuing to like beat this dead horse. So let me, and I think you know who I'm talking about. They're the ones that don't have the XFL, so they're not showing an XFL game, and I love this. So this is the headline on the article. Okay, viewership declines again for all four XFL games. No, they don't mention anything else that, you know, that they're still. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that I think it was one of the ABC games was still like the number one thing in that spot and that time. I mean, it on TV, it's crazy. The fans are into the XFL, and it's just like you're ignoring it because you don't have a dog in the fight, and so you've got to dog somebody, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, so stand on your own laurels. I'm not gonna bash somebody just so that I can raise myself up or be lazy about it. Like, if somebody's good, I'm gonna tell you that they're good, and you know, I hope you take me like on my own merits. Don't just, you know, like, because, you know, you like somebody else that you're gonna tear somebody else down. Like, that's the thing with me that drives me nuts. Like, yes, the NFL's good. The NFL's the best thing we have. But it doesn't mean you have to tear down the XFL and call it crap because it's not the NFL. It's not crap. If you watch it, it's actually pretty good. It's fun. It's entertaining on multiple levels. You know, not just football on the field. And, you know, and so we have that, but that just drives me batty when the only way you can build something up or make your point is that you have to tear something else down. And obviously that just shows that, you know, that you're insecure in your, you know, in your stance anyways, if you've got to tear something else down. I mean, I'm gonna call a spade, but you know, I'm gonna use their own laurels to do it. I'm not gonna just, you know, use it as you know, something to build something else up. I mean, you know, they can stand on their own 2 feet. And they should. I mean, that's the way we should look at things. What do you say? Actually, sorry, man. These things are moving on me. Steve says, actually, Oliver Luck and Vince McMahon had a stadium deal in place with Red Bull Stadium in New York, Metro, and LifeMed. It was Kevin Gilbride who preferred MetLife and got his way. Hey, you know, Red Bull Stadium's a cool stadium there too. You know, I think that listen, the XFL does have some opportunities with all of these MLS stadiums that they can really go into. I think some of the big stuff is weather, and you know, if Kevin Gilbride got his way, you know, it is what it is. But you know, I don't necessarily think that hurts them. I didn't think that was a bad atmosphere. Now, you guys who were there or have people that were there, you know, let me know. Let's see here. Houston's great, but Dallas coach Bob Stoops won me over with the Bud Light seltzer celebration last game. Yeah, you know, that's kind of, listen, it's the XFL. You know, we're not going to throw any antics at you. You know, we're not going to do that, but we're still going to be crazy, man. Like, and yeah, definitely. And see, that's what I'm saying. The XFL is giving us an opportunity to like people, because you get to see them, you know, raw, who they are. I mean, when people are in the moment, when you capture them in the moment, you get to see who they truly are. You know, if they're truly a good person, if they're a bad person. I mean, you know, when it's that instinctive, reactory things and stuff like that, you get to see who people are, and you know, it's really telling, and it's just fantastic. It's great, and it's sometimes it's a disaster, and other times it's just all out fun. It's captivating, one way or the other. So yeah, I definitely agree. You're froze, bro. Can you still hear me? Okay, so you can still hear me. Do you want me to stop it and restart it? Or do you want me to just keep going with audio? All right. All right, so let's do this. Let's go ahead right now. It's 10:21, and let's go ahead and 10:30. I'm gonna try to go ahead and do a restart. We'll start things back up, and yeah, we'll try to go there. I apologize to all you guys that I missed all of your questions and all of your comments. Um, uh, I apologize with that. So yeah, 10:30. Let's hit it back, and we'll yeah, we'll do some more fun stuff. Hey, thanks guys. Hello? Yeah.
You're zooming in.
Hold on.